But what was the greatest segment of this episode was Jon Moxley calling out Hangman Page. And Hangman Page spoke from the heart, lost himself for a moment, pulled a Ric Flair, damn near took his own eye out. And this was incredible. The best promo in a very good list of promos from Hangman.
Even MJF, they cut to the crowd. And I mean, I have it on our single shots here where he was kind of like, all right, this is fun, kid. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, he's slinging.
And that was the only thing that I felt was a misstep. Is I understand MJF looms over this title match and really every title match until he cashes in that chip, right? And I understand that and I like that. But the timing of MJF is here was right when Hangman started the heartfelt emotion.
Yeah, again, this is where I don't think we've got a singular oversight of somebody going, what is step 1 in the show? What is step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What's the timing of all of that?
Exactly.
Where I get the AEW thing of like, let's give these guys freedom to say and do what they want. But you still need to go, okay, so when we cut to MJF, let's make sure it's before
Hangman
starts, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you're blocking this, you do Jon Moxley comes out, Jon Moxley says his stuff. There's a beat where the fans, like he says a bitch or something that gets the fans excited. That's when MJF just takes his seat. Jon Moxley looks up, then Hangman comes out, and there you go. But what we got was Jon Moxley comes out, he says his stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Jon Moxley always gives a good promo.
Yeah.
An underrated, reliable promo. I know we talk about the CM Punks and the MJFs and all of that.
What I will say about the Moxley promo is I don't think we're ever getting the like, oh my God, like this is the Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo with Moxley, right? But we're always getting a solid B+ to an A promo out of Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I think when the time is needed, he can do that. Because if you recall, right after All Out, when he got on the microphone, and he gave this is the fucking that is a good one. And then obviously when he came back from rehab, but that's a different circumstance. That's a more shoot promo. That's not Hard Times. But he always gives you that reliable. Well, you don't have Hard Times, does he? Right? But he always gives you that reliable. Like I'm gonna listen to what he says. It's not filler, Rudy Poo, and all the catchphrase stuff.
Hey man, don't knock a Rudy Poo.
And so I'm reading Brian Gwart's page or book. So good.
You're just a Rudy Poo candy ass, Tom. That's what you are.
But The Rock, the more I'm reading it, I'm watching the time period.
There's a reason The Rock is like the highest paid actor, and because his timing of delivering lines somebody else wrote is magnificent. He knows how to give you the look. He knows how to hit the right. He knows how to like draw your attention in and then hit the line. Like he's great at all that. But if you gave him the mic and we're like, go out there and speak to this crowd that you didn't know was here for 20 minutes, we get like what we see on his Instagram where he's like, this is my house. Right? Like, and he doesn't have anything to say, so he awkwardly laughs. Yeah, The Rock was great at presentation and delivery, but he never had anything of substance of his own to say.
Read the book. Well, hold on. I would tell you to read the book because you're not entirely wrong, but you're also not right. Okay. But again, that's a side quest there. I'm just saying I'm rewatching The Rock's promos and it kind of feels like Jinko jeans where it fit for the time and it doesn't anymore.
Yo, it's not funny now. Yeah, like if you came out and you were like, I'm going to take this microphone and turn that sumbitch sideways and shove it up your candy ass, we'd be like, yeah, that's gross. Like, you're fucking weird. Well, you're going to sexually assault me? Like, that's weird.
Let's get back on track here. So Jon Moxley, as we mentioned, he says
talking about sexual assault is not on track on the Spanish Announce Table?
No.
All right. Okay.
Hangman comes out, and as we mentioned, he speaks from the heart, and he punches himself in the eye. I mean, it instantly welts. It starts to bleed, where at one point, Hangman takes the blood and kind of wipes it on Jon Moxley.
Loved that.
Which was interesting.
Taking that was good. And I love how Moxley was kind of like, all right, well, this is happening now.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, with the shot of MJF that we have here, everyone I felt as if when he came out and he said, "Oh, you think I'm a kid?" We were going to get the. Well, I think we were going to get the. Well, I'm a man. I'm a former champion. Thanks, Hangman. And it went.
Yeah, but he did do that. Yeah, he did do that. So that was this thing. Was like you're calling me a kid. He's like, you know what I mean? I've buried friends. I've brought life into this thing just like you did. I'm 31 fucking years old. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole thing of the opening up again, where Hangman's always been good about this, right? Like, you know, men's mental health and that sort of thing, where he's like, I'm fucking anxiety. The meds aren't working. I'm depressed, but I'm still fucking here. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm still bringing at you. And that's where he was like, no. So this is what this is. This isn't a kid coming at you. This is somebody who's lived a fucked up life.
Well, that's where I think it took to the next level, is he said somewhat of not predictability, but when you said, I'm not a kid, I'm a man, I'm a former champion, everything's kind of on pace for a good promo. When he starts to cut into, I don't have any friends, as you mentioned, the meds aren't working, I'm depressed, the thing I need the most is on your shoulder. And as mentioned from the last couple promos with Moxley and Hangman, Moxley, to his credit, stands there and isn't shook. I mean, I think he's impressed. It looked like he was impressed with what he was saying, but it wasn't as if Moxley was doing the like, oh man, like, do you need a hug? He's just like, fucking cool. Tuesday night, I'm still kicking your ass.
Well, I think he was kind of like, oh, there he is. You know what I mean? Like, now I have a fight on my hands. All right. Like, I've been looking for this, bitch.
So this brings the question, a special Tuesday night episode of Dynamite.
Tuesday night. Mm-hmm.
It is in Cincinnati, as Hangman mentioned. What do you think happens?
Man. So, we're Team Hangman over here. This is the Anxious Millennial podcast. You know what I mean? If there is one. And I'm all ready to ride on Hangman's second ride. But I think, as great as this promo was, and it was great, it was his best promo I've seen, and it was one to remember. It was a character-defining promo. I think it opened up a better storyline for him to lose. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if he loses, like, there's gold in that, right? Like, there's gold in him spilling his guts like that, right? Bowing up and then still not getting the job done, right? Like, the dark place that the Hangman can go from that. There could be many ways we can go with that. So I won't hate it. I hope he wins, but right now I feel like he's not gonna.
Can I present to you this scenario?
Mm-hmm.
And before I actually present you the scenario, I want to mention one other backstage segment I have not talked about yet. And that was the MJF promo where Alex Marvez says,
oh my God.
Hey, pal, look like you were about to shake Yuta's hand. And before he could even get the sentence out, here comes Stokely Hathaway. Fuck that guy, right? Yeah, we got him. And MJF dresses down Stokely.
Oh, yeah.
Says he looks like a dork.
Daddy's got to put you in timeout.
And he even pokes fun at AEW tropes where, we do a backstage interview and someone interrupts. How convenient. This is, something silly, as we always kind of do. But it looked like, again, babyface turn of MJF.
But he's still, like, obnoxiously dressed him down in a way that nobody likes, right? Like belittled him.
Yes.
Told him to take his Carlton Banks wardrobe ass out of here.
And then as Hangman opened up about the meds aren't working, I'm depressed, my friends are gone, all of that, MJF then says, I have to be the bad guy. Yeah. I have to be this way. So let me present this to you, Tim. Moxley versus Hangman. Hangman overcomes all the odds and beats Jon Moxley in Cincinnati, in his hometown.
And then the cash
cowboy up. Mm-hmm. And MJF, the man that he thinks he has to be, the asshole evil one, takes it away from him, cashes in the chip.
You can tell he doesn't even want to. He feels bad about doing it, but he has to. That was another thing. Like, MJF does this a lot. But a character-defining promo from MJF here of, he says, I learned a long time ago that nice guys finish last. So I have to be that way. He's like, I've broken I busted my hand punching the mirror. He's like, oh, you don't like me? He's like, tough shit. I don't fucking like me either. Like, that thing was like, oh, man. that was the thing. Watching that, I was like, this is one of the most amazing promos they've had from their start. And of course, it would come from MJF. And then I forgot about it later because, as you said, Hangman unloaded his most heartfelt promo I've ever seen.
MJF, to his credit, if someone with more time on their hands and a catalog of AEW shows and good editing tools, I would love for them to pick out these character defining promos and put it together, because we have the origin story. You know, MJF wants to be just like CM Punk, but when MJF needed his hero the most, that's when CM Punk left.
Go back to the
birth MJF.
Go back to the the birth of the Pinnacle, right? That whole I learned a long time ago that you need a faction, and he had even said that earlier, right? Like there's all these moments. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you add that, right? So there's the origin story of how MJF came to be. Then he realized what needed to come to the next step, and that was the Pinnacle. And then he took that to then go to now. Yeah, I don't want to be this, but look how far I've came. All of these character defining pinpoints, you put that together, man, that could be some magic.
Because if he were to say, if he were to open up and be like, there's no way a guy like me is going to win these titles if I don't do these things, so I have to be this way. He's like, you know it. You just keep running from it. I have to do it. He's like, and that's why I'm better than you. And you know it. Oh!
So the other thing, though, that I want to get your feedback on is in that promo that MJF mentioned, he said that his dark history, and I'm paraphrasing here, aligns pretty in tune with William Regal. As mentioned, William Regal got those brass knucks. MJF did but he didn't do the cowardly. He did me and you are the same, pal, and walked off. And William Regal, to his credit, looked at him and said, no, I see myself in you. So what comes about? And here's again where I think what I'd like to present to you, and if I had the booking power, is you do Jon Moxley, Hangman Page, Hangman wins, MJF cashes in that chip. So now you have Hangman who says, I had it and now I'm more broken than I've ever been. Jon Moxley is saying, I deserve my rematch. I gave you an opportunity on a Tuesday, for Christ's sake. And then you have the devil himself, MJF, as the champion. Let's do a triple threat at the next pay-per-view.
You know what I would do here?
That's what I would do.
So it's Tuesday night. Hangman and Moxley. They're going at it. We're getting to this spot where it looks like Hangman's like, what do I got to do? I can't get this done, right? Even though he's laying the wood to Moxley, just plowing him down, right? And Moxley keeps kicking out. Enter Blackpool Combat Club's mentor, William Regal. He's got the brass knucks. Hangman's like, fuck you. You really going to come out here? Like you really need to save your guy? Regal takes out Moxley, lays him out for Hangman, who's like, what the fuck? Fuck you, right? Whatever, right? But he does it, needs his title, right? And he's staring at him like, what the fuck? And then Regal takes him out too. And here comes MJF to cash in, takes it, and now he's got Regal as his mentor, his advocate, if you will. And now the Blackpool Combat Club's like, what the fuck, Regal? And now here's Regal and MJF over here like, hey, birds of a feather, man.
I like that. I
think that would be out of nowhere that nobody's expecting.
I don't think it would be consistent with what we're hearing from MJF, though, where he's almost shaking Yuta's hand. He understands that no one likes him.
Yeah, true. It would be a turn. It would be a hard turn. Yep.
And that's why I think if you have him cash in, and as you mentioned earlier, say, hey,
oh yeah, see the reluctance, right? He doesn't want to hit him with a thing, but
everyone knows.
I mean, Cowboy is barely standing up from having just almost murdered himself to murder Jon Moxley.
Right. And then again, what I think would be great is then let's get all three stories in the main event of your next pay-per-view.
Yeah, and MJF has to come in and like saddeningly brutalize the Hangman. We gotta think he's gonna kill him. and he's got to be almost crying about doing it, right? But like, I had to do this. Don't you understand? Like,
anyone would have done it. That's I think the narrative. If again we're doing what I'm presenting, is the narrative is everyone would have taken this opportunity. If you see $100 bill on the ground, you grab it. Like, this is when the best opportunity was to win the championship. Like I said last week, you don't think I'm a bad guy? I hate myself too, And then we got all these complicated masculinity stories presented to us, which is relatable.